few short presentations, and then we will answer questions that have been pre-submitted by community members. Zoom attendees can submit questions in real time using the question and answer function on your screen. Agency representatives are on this Zoom meeting responding to your questions live. Please note that if you're watching this via the YouTube live chat, or if you're submitting questions through that live chat, those questions will not be answered. You must use the Zoom link. So we will drop into the YouTube chat a link to the Zoom meeting so that if you have questions, use that Zoom platform to submit those questions. As mentioned, we have a series of presentations, and first off, Supervisor Kathryn Barger will lead us with her remarks. Supervisor, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I want to highlight some important news that directly impacts you all. Last week, the Board of Supervisors unanimously approved my motion to defer and refund county permitting fees for those rebuilding their homes. Let me be clear about what this means. The county is using the phrase deferring fees as a matter of protocol. This is our first step to eliminate them entirely. The plan is to permanently waive fees so no one who lost their home in Altadena pays any permitting fees. Here's what's happening next. The county is doing a study to reevaluate the full cost of the permit fees. We know that the streamlining efforts, deployment of AI tools, and self-certification will reduce costs to the county. Once we have revised fees identified, we will secure the funding so we can relieve you of this burden. Rest assured, this will happen. The county will cover the costs for you. You have already lost so much, you shouldn't have to worry about permit fees getting in the way of rebuilding your home. For most families, these fees may have exceeded $20,000. That's a barrier we cannot allow to stand. If you owned and lived in your home before the fires, you are eligible. A self-attestation form will be required and verified by the county. That means no permit or inspection fees up front, and if you've already paid them, you will get a refund. Refunds will be processed by the departments to eligible homeowners who have verified forms. I also want to be clear that the refunds will go to the person that paid the fees. I know in many instances, this may be the agent, architect, or engineer for the property owner. That is why I have asked the departments to ensure there is a protocol in place to notify the property owner when refunds are issued. More details to come from the county on this. The work I'm doing to help rebuild Altadena is more than policy. To me, it's personal. These are real-life impacts that affect each of you every day. I visit Altadena weekly, and I am committed to seeing the rebuilding progress myself. I want you to know that I am laser focused on removing obstacles because I believe in your right to rebuild and remain in the community that you call home. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Supervisor. Our next presenter is with the Department of Public Works. We have Kiara Barnett.
Good afternoon, everybody. All right, thank you for sharing those slides on screen. So as the supervisor just mentioned, last week on June 17th, the County Board of Supervisors approved a motion to immediately defer rebuilding fees for qualifying property owners rebuilding from the January wildfires. Qualifying applicants must be located in unincorporated Los Angeles County, be rebuilding a single-family home that was damaged or destroyed in the Eaton or Palisades fires, and have both owned and lived in the property being rebuilt prior to January 7, 2025. Property owners who have already paid fees, as the supervisor mentioned, will be eligible for refunds. And the motion did also direct several county departments to complete an updated fee study within 60 days, taking into account potential cost savings from new technologies and systems now being deployed, like Archistar and pre-approved plans that I'll talk about a little bit further. And if we can move to our next slide, please. Great. So to provide an update on permit progress, shown on screen is our current recovery dashboard as of this morning. 788 applications have been received by LA County for rebuilds in the Eaton unincorporated area. Planning review first for what is proposed to be built and where on the site, and planning have cleared 534 applications. Once full building plans are prepared and submitted, a project progresses into the plan review stage for how the structure is proposed to be built. To date, 317 projects have progressed to building plan review with full building plans submitted. 33 rebuild permits have been issued in Altadena. And for permits issued to date, the average time from initial submittal to permit issuance averaged 46 business days. And if we can move to the next slide, please. Homeowners looking to rebuild due to the Eaton and Palisades wildfires may be able to use a pre-approved standard plan. Pre-approved plans and streamlined permitting processes can help homeowners rebuild more efficiently, safely, and affordably. In just a few short weeks since the launch of the pre-approved plan program, LA County has received 39 pre-approved plan designs for review. Of those, 35 have cleared planning review, 9 have submitted full building plans for review, and 1 home design has been approved. And if we can move to the next slide, please. To date, 1 plan has been pre-approved for use within the unincorporated Los Angeles County, and the design does comply with high fire hazard severity zone requirements, so it can be used anywhere in the area. These first pre-approved plans have been developed in partnership with Foothill Design Catalog, Foothill Catalog Foundation, a nonprofit organization working to help provide a path to efficiently rebuild homes lost in Altadena while still preserving the historical character of the community. For the design that has been approved, there are 3 different variations on style, and this, as well as other plans as they get approved, this plan, as well as others, will have information posted in our catalog online, including design information, such as the number of stories, number of square feet, how many beds and baths, and we'll have a fact sheet available for these particular designs so that homeowners can reach out to the design companies to see if that's an option they would like to explore. And if we could go to the next slide, please. So the comprehensive Road to Rebuilding Guide is now available on the LA County Recovers website. The guide is an introduction to planning, designing, and constructing healthy, resilient, and efficient buildings and properties. The guide offers an introduction to the many measures one can take while rebuilding to make buildings and communities more resilient. Additionally, there are several organizations and agencies dedicated to the subject matter that have developed in-depth resources and tools to assist property owners in making informed decisions for fire-resilient properties and buildings. Content in the guide includes information on healthy and resilient buildings, materials and equipment, landscaping and outdoor spaces, and also available information on rebates and incentives. And this information will be frequently uploaded with the most current best information. And that can be found on our recovery.lacounty.gov rebuilding site. We also just rolled out a new Road to Rebuilding overview video to break down the process even further. To help residents navigate in the complex rebuilding process after a wildfire, LA County has created a roadmap to help identify the steps from debris removal to moving in to be able to rebuild your property. So we'll try playing this animated video to provide an overview of some of the steps on Road to Rebuilding. So we'll see if that video can be played. Great, maybe I'll finish the slides and we'll see if we can play it at the end. It's a 2-minute video, so we'll try playing it here. And if not, you can find it on our landing page for recovery.lacounty.gov rebuilding, and do recommend you watch that video. And finally, I'd just like to close by sharing that we have our next Rebuilding Together virtual workshop scheduled for this coming Saturday, June 28th, from 10 a.m. to noon. This virtual session will be recorded and posted to our website. So if you can't make it, you can find it there. But you can also sign up on our website or by using the QR code here on screen. Or again, you can find this under recovery.lacounty.gov on the rebuilding site. The topic for this session will again be that Resilient Rebuilding Resources Guide, which provides detailed information and resources for planning, designing, and constructing high-performing and resilient sites and structures. And so I'm not sure if that video will play, but if not, again, you could definitely find that on the recovery. There we go. Thank you very much.
Kiara, actually, in the interest of time, what we'll do is we'll definitely drop a link to this video in the chat so people can copy and paste it. We'll also share it via socials. But I did want to ask you just one question that we've heard pretty consistently is people want to know for the permit fee deferrals and the refunds, does that only apply for like rebuilds?
No, so it would apply again for properties in the unincorporated area where somebody owned and resided in the home. And that would be for all people that are rebuilding a structure that was lost by those wildfires.
Excellent. Thank you
Okay.
so much. And
Thank
again,
you.
if people have any questions about the information that you're hearing during the different updates, please submit your question via the Zoom link, and we will have our expert panelists answer them in real time. Our next presenter will be with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Colonel Sunny Avichal, to provide an update on debris removal.
Okay, good afternoon. Supervisor, thank you for allowing me to speak today. So first, I'll give a general overview on progress, and then I'll give some more specific updates. So overall general progress. So for awareness, right now we have 5,508 that have opted into the program. And these are people who we have their right of entry and are doing, or who have opted in, and then who have opted out are 531 personnel. In terms of cleared property, we have removed the fire ash and debris from 5,424. So that is about 98% complete with those that have opted into the program. Also, as of today, we have completed and returned the rights of entry back to the county for 5,271 properties, or 95% of those who have opted into the program. Please understand we do continue to receive more properties every day. So these percentages may stay stagnant for a little while. And so we are getting things like more commercial properties, special inclusion properties, and then later on, about mid-July, we should receive the list of abatements as well. Also today, just for awareness, we have 19 debris crews on site. So again, that is continually going down as our workload has gone down significantly over the last few weeks. So special inclusion properties, we do continue to receive these from FEMA. And these are public properties, churches, private nonprofit, those types of organizations. Currently, we are at 47 properties that fit this category. And of those, 21 will be complete by the end of today. In terms of commercial properties, we are receiving a good amount of commercial properties that have been approved to be in the program. There are 63, which is up about 37 from last week. These are commercial properties primarily on Lake and Fair Oaks, those two avenues. And again, we will continue to work on those properties, and we should continue to receive those as well. Public Works is going to notify those businesses once they are into the program itself. And then lastly, I'll talk just once again about abatements. The county has set a deadline of 30 June for those that have opted out of the program to complete debris removal from their property. If for some reason they're unable to do so, we know that the county will do an abatement, and then the deadline for us to receive those properties is 15 July. Okay, I will remain on the line for any questions, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Colonel Avichal. Next up, we have with the LA County Department of Public Health, Dr. Nicole Quick.
Good afternoon, and thank you for having me here today. I'm going to spend a couple minutes talking about the current soil lead testing program that is up and going. That was following a board motion back in April. Public Health has been directed to use up to $3 million from the county's lead paint hazard mitigation program to offer this large-scale residential soil testing program. So this program is open for anybody who has a property that's located in the burn area, in the Eaton area, outside the burn area, or downwind. Once again, this is open for those folks that are in the burn area, outside and downwind in the Eaton area. So this program consists of a self-collected soil sample. So individuals will collect soil from 4 places on their property. That soil sample will be brought to a drop spot. The county will then transport that to a certified lab, and individuals should get back the results of their lead soil sample results within 7 to 10 business days. I would urge anybody who's interested in this program to visit publichealth.lacounty.gov and just look for the Eaton Fire Soil Testing banner on that homepage. That'll take you to our webpage where there's detailed instructions. It'll walk you through step by step on how to complete the submission form, or rather how to fill out the submission form, complete the gathering of the soil, and how to get that to us so that we can send it to the lab. There is also an FAQ section there that has lots of good information on frequently asked questions. It also has a link to the free blood lead testing that we also is another program that we have. I did want to let folks know multiple ways to get a blood lead test that can be done through medical provider, can be done straight through Quest Lab. And we do have 2 upcoming events that first of which is on June 21st, and that is going to be in Pasadena. And we do have one on Friday, June 27th in the Altadena Community Center. All of that information can be found on the page. Once again, that's going to publichealth.lacounty.gov and look for that Eaton Fire Soil Testing Program for all the detailed information. So anybody who's in the general Eaton area who has concerns about lead in their soil or has concerns about potential exposure, we really urge people to take advantage of this lead testing in both the soil and in blood. That is my update, and I'll be happy to stick around for questions as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Quick. Next up, we have an update with the California Department of Insurance, Rob Obedosa.
Thank you, everyone. And thank you to Supervisor Barger and your team for allowing me to give a few minutes and update on some of the ways that we at the Department of Insurance can help. I want to expand basically on what Supervisor Barger touched on a couple of weeks ago, which is the Department of Insurance's request for assistance process. And, we know the supervisor's team, we know our legislative partners, and a lot of our other partners are getting a lot of questions as far as insurance-related issues go, especially as the rebuilding process goes on. And, a lot of those get sent our way, and especially at some of these community meetings, we try our best to answer your questions as best as possible. But the best way for us at the Department of Insurance and to get your issues resolved with your insurance company is to go through what's called the request for assistance process with the California Department of Insurance. So if we go to the next slide, just want to give a quick reminder that currently for all areas affected by the fires in January, plus all the zip codes affected by the fires in January and the adjacent zip codes, they're currently under what's called an insurance moratorium. So after the declared state of emergency, the Insurance Commissioner, Ricardo Lara, declared an insurance moratorium protecting all residential policies within those affected zip codes and adjacent zip codes from cancellations and non-renewals for at least 1 year. And that insurance moratorium is in effect right now and is set to expire January 6, 2026. But just to kind of recap some of the issues we've been seeing a lot at these community meetings and when we're speaking to homeowners and residents who've been affected by these fires, the biggest thing that we've been seeing is the handling of smoke and ash damage and remediation in the aftermath of these fires, whether it's recommended cleanup, insurance companies not sure or unwilling to do smoke and ash remediation or unable to do testing and so forth. So we've been seeing a lot of that in the past few months. Of course, we've been seeing a lot of cases of non-communicative or unhelpful insurance companies or your adjusters, information getting lost or passed between different entities, and it's causing the process to be a little longer than it should be. Of course, especially early on in the process, there was numerous cases of health hazards and habitability concerns with insurance companies. I don't want to say force, but recommending homeowners to return to their properties, even though there hadn't been proper testing, even though there were still health concerns in the area, even though the debris hadn't been cleaned up just yet. So we were seeing a lot of that early on. And with the scale of the fires in January, we're seeing a lot of delays in claims, in processing, and payment payouts, as some of these insurance companies have been overwhelmed with the scale of the claims that have been paid out. Those timeframes have not been met in a timely fashion. And as the rebuilding process starts and continues, we're seeing a lot of complaints about the rebuilding cost estimates, differences between what your insurance company says it's going to cost to rebuild your property versus what the actual cost it's going to be from your contractor or home builder. And this results in situations where people are finding themselves maybe underinsured, where they thought they had enough insurance to cover the rebuilding costs, but due to a difference of estimates, they're finding they might not have enough to rebuild their properties. So, like I said, we've been getting a lot of these questions and concerns from residents all over the place these past few months. And on the next slide, so we recommend everyone, if you're having any issues with your insurance company, please start the request for assistance process with the Department of Insurance. So we are the largest consumer protection agency within the state of California, and we're here to help you with any of your insurance issues with your insurance company. You can either call us by calling us at 1-800-927-4357. Response times are pretty quick. I don't think you can wait longer than 2 or 3 minutes to reach somebody. And it's not, when you call that, you're not going to like some generic call center. The people that are answering those phones are the same people who are answering questions and meeting with residents at our insurance workshops that we held early on in the process. They're the same staff that were staffing the disaster recovery centers. They're our insurance experts, and they're very knowledgeable, and they're there to help you with your insurance needs. Of course, if you'd like to submit a request for assistance, you can also do that on our website at insurance.ca.gov. Right on our website in the upper left-hand corner, you'll see that box or that button that says file a complaint. You can file that digitally as well. Or if you want to submit documentation, paperwork, and send everything by mail, you can download a copy of our request for assistance form, or you can call us and we can send you that form, and then you can mail the information back to us. But of course, if you want a quicker response, we would recommend calling us or starting the process online. And then if we go to the next slide, just want to give a brief update just on how the request for assistance process works. So this process is actually defined within California insurance statute. So the insurance companies are required by law to respond to us and cooperate with our investigations if we receive a request for assistance from a consumer. So once you submit a consumer, once the consumer themselves files a request for assistance with us at the Department of Insurance, it is then assigned to a compliance officer. Once that's assigned to that case is assigned to our compliance officer, we will confirm with you with the consumer, and then also send an inquiry to the insurance department or insurance company at the exact same time. And when we send that inquiry, the insurance company has 21 days to respond. Now, that doesn't mean that it'll take 21 days. Sometimes if it's a pretty simple case, that can be a lot quicker than 21 days. But by law, they have to respond to us within 21 days for us to be able to get information to start the investigation. And ultimately, the timeline of the case to be resolved can just depend on the complexity of the issue. So I can't say exactly how long your case could take. If it's something as simple as, I don't know, like I haven't heard back from my adjuster in a week or two, or the insurance company said they mailed out a check, but they lost it and they need to reissue it, that could be a lot quicker than maybe something that is more complex, like the smoke damage issues I mentioned earlier. But yeah, and also I want to set some expectations in mind as well. So there's a couple things that we at the Department of Insurance cannot do during this request for assistance process. For one, if you hire a lawyer to handle your case, we are pretty much hands off at that point. So at that point, it's between you and your attorney or your representative to deal with the insurance company. So if you are planning on going that route, we kind of recommend coming to us first and exploring your options with us before taking it to a lawyer and seeking legal counsel. We also don't have the authority to determine how much your claim should be paid. And we also don't have the authority to determine if your claim should be paid or not. But we do have the authority to make sure that your insurance company is treating you fairly, operating within California insurance law, and also beholden to the policy that they've written and making sure that you're receiving all the benefits that you are entitled to based on your insurance policy. And on the next slide, as a result of our help with insurance claims, as of May 12th, 2025, last month, so far over 38,000 claims related to these fires in January have been filed. At least 35,000 have been at least partially paid, resulting into 17.1 billion in claims paid so far. And again, we're still early in the rebuilding process. And hundreds, if not thousands of those claims were as a result of us helping those consumers work through that process. But in addition to that, over 40 million has been recovered for wildfire survivors through the Department of Insurance's intervention or formal complaints brought by consumers and homeowners through this request for assistance process. So if we can help you recover some of that money or get those claims pushed through, we'll do everything that we can to do that. And as I mentioned, one of the biggest issues that we've been seeing is the smoke damage and smoke remediation. And as a result of the overwhelming number of requests for assistance on smoke damage, the insurance commissioner has started the creation of a smoke claims and remediation task force, putting together public health experts, environmental health professionals, smoke remediation experts, and so forth to kind of tackle the issue, set some clear guidelines on how insurance companies should be handling those smoke damage claims. And on the next page, also as a result of the numerous claim requests for assistance we've been getting, on June 12th, 2025, just a couple weeks ago, Insurance Commissioner Ricardo Lara announced an investigation and market conduct examination into State Farm General Insurance Company's handlings of claims stemming from the Altadena Palisades fires and all the other fires related to that. This investigation is going to take a look into a lot of the issues we've been seeing and hearing about, which includes having multiple adjusters and the lack of communication and loss of information between that adjuster's process, inconsistent handling of claims, similar claims between different residents and homeowners, inadequate record keeping or information sharing amongst the claims teams within State Farm, and also, of course, the smoke damage claims as well. And, for us to do this formal investigation, this is a result of the overwhelming response that we've received through the request for assistance process from homeowners who have been dealing with State Farm and have reported those issues to the Department of Insurance. So for those of you who haven't reached out already, we encourage you to do so. There's more survivors that come forward with these claims and with these complaints, the stronger our department's case can be against State Farm or any other insurance company out there. And for those of you who have already submitted those complaints, we want to thank you because of your voice, because of the overwhelming response. This is the first time that we're doing an investigation like this in the middle of the recovery process and paying claims. In the past, when this situation has happened, these investigations have come about after a year or two after we were able to gather enough information to start an investigation. But because of the overwhelming response from the residents in Altadena and the Palisades, from community organizations like the Eaton Fire Survivors Network, who have been great in compiling various testimonials with regards to State Farm, because of the outcry from your communities, we're able to start this investigation, which could result into penalties against State Farm, forfeiture of licensure, refunds to consumers, legislative changes, and changes into State Farm's practice going forward. So again, if you haven't, and this goes for any insurance company as well. I know we're also getting a lot of complaints about the California Fair Plan as well. So if you're having any issues with your insurance company, whether it's State Farm, whether it's the Fair Plan or any other insurance company, please start the request for assistance with us so we can help you out. And on the next page, I just want to wrap things up with our contact information. Of course, you can reach us at insurance.ca.gov. Give us a call at our 800 number at 1-800-927-4357. Follow us on our various social media platforms. Email us as well. But again, we're here to help you navigate the insurance issues with your insurance company. Please give us a call, pay us a visit, start the request for assistance process. So that wraps things up for me. Thank you for your time, and I will stick around to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Rob. And I just see a quick question here. Can you provide the URL email address to file an insurance request for assistance? Can we go back to that slide very quickly?
Yeah.
I want to say it was a few in.
Yeah, so I didn't list the URL directly, but basically if you just go to our main website at insurance.ca.gov, in the upper left-hand corner. If you go back a couple slides, I think it's like the third or fourth slide, but a couple more. There we go. So when you log onto our website, it'll look like that in the middle there. Just click that button that says file a complaint, and it should take you to the electronic form to file a case with the Department of Insurance. So that's probably the easiest and fastest way to do it. You can upload documents as well, anything that you can support your case, even if it's just a summary of the issues you were facing. Definitely take advantage of that, and we can help you out.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Rob.
Yeah,
We're
of
now
course.
going to pivot to a slightly different topic that has to do still with investigations, but the next update has to do with a report, an evaluation better said, that Supervisor Kathryn Barger directed to be completed, that's taking a closer look at evacuations and what happened when it comes to evacuations during the Eaton fire for the Altadena community. And we have with us, joining us with the County Council team, Truck Moore, who's here to provide an update on that after action investigation and evaluation report. Truck, the floor is yours.
Great, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. As Helen indicated, my name is Truck Moore, and I'm with the County Council's Office of LA County. I'm here to give you an update on the after action review that is occurring with the McChrystal Group. As some of you know, the supervisor co-authored a motion on January 28, 2005 of this year, ordering an independent review, what we call an after action review, or an AAR, as some of you may know, of the existing emergency notification systems so that we can better understand what was done with respect to alerts and notifications and evacuation orders during the Eaton and Palisades fire. In response to that adopted motion on January 28th, we retained the McChrystal Group to conduct that independent after action review on evacuation policies and emergency alert notification systems that was utilized by the county. The McChrystal Group, who is the consultant that we retained, is led by 4-star General Stanley McChrystal, and he's got a lot of experience along with his team working on various after action reviews. The team that is doing the review has extensive emergency management and disaster response experience, and they have done a lot of AARs, including the recent AAR related to the September 24 North Carolina hurricane that some of you may be familiar with. The McChrystal Group has largely completed its data collection efforts. It took a lot of work for them to be able to go out and gather the relevant incident data and documents related to the 2 fire incidents for Palisades and Eaton. And they've also conducted a number of interviews with stakeholders and personnel who responded to the fires. Additionally, they also did 6 community listening sessions where they went out into the community and surveyed the community and invited the community to come and share their experiences related to the alerts and evacuation orders that they received for the Eaton and Palisades fire. We were able to gather a lot of great information from the community that will inform the county moving forward on how the community treats alerts and evacuation orders and what works for them and what doesn't work for them. And that information will be processed as part of the after action review. Now that a large portion of the data gathering has occurred, they are in the process of preparing the after action review and writing out their findings and recommendations related to what they've noted and what can happen in the future. It's really important that they do a great job on this and that they take the time that's needed to do a good review of the alerts and warnings actions that occurred during the 2 fires in January, because it's really important for the county to be able to get good lessons learned so that we can improve our response in the future. Their report will be able to help us guide our future actions, possibly make adjustments to our policies. And that is all going to be to the benefit, obviously, to the county and the communities that we served. So I'm just here to let everyone know that the work is occurring. It's occurring as fast as it can, but it's also important that we balance that with the time that the consultant needs to be able to put together thoughtful and actionable recommendations for the county's review. I anticipate that this work will finish sometime in the next few months. That's yet to be determined, but they are actively working on preparing the report. And that's all I have for today.
Thank you very much, Truck. We appreciate you joining us, and please stick around. If there's questions from the community, you'll see them pop up in that question and answer panel.
Absolutely.
Next up, we have with the Department of Economic Opportunity an update from Jessica Kim about the Recovery and Resilience Workforce Program that has been launched for the Altadena community.
Good afternoon. I'm here to share a little bit about resources that are available for both workers and businesses as it relates to the workforce. So next slide. After the fire happened, we were able to unlock 2 grants that was awarded to the region up to $20 million. LA County was directly awarded $14.2 million, and what we call to serve 1,000 impacted workers through the Fire Recovery and Resilience Workforce Program. It included 2 grants, the $5.2 million in National Dislocated Worker Grant that provides temporary jobs for up to 174 impacted workers that would provide direct disaster relief, including cleanup and humanitarian assistance needs, and $9 million in what we call an additional assistance grant that provides skills training and on-the-job transitional skills, stipends, supportive services, and more. Next slide. And with our we call the FRRWP, I know it's a long name, we have 3 primary program goals. The first being is that we know it's important to provide immediate financial security and pathways to long-term economic mobility. We need to accomplish both those goals to meet the needs of our community. The second is to build the necessary workforce. As we think about the surge capacity that is needed in the region, we want our local workers to have that opportunity, but we also want first in line those who've been impacted by the fires to have access to those employment opportunities. And the third is we know workers in particular industries were really impacted. And so how do we support the industries? How do we support the businesses? How do we invest in upskilling opportunities and connections with employers? Next slide. And so there are a couple of primary services that are available. One is temporary paid work. And so with county agencies and other businesses and organizations that are providing that direct support recovery, where the position is doing 100% of cleanup, recovery, resiliency, humanitarian assistance, we are subsidizing 3 to 5 months, up to 800 hours of that paid work experience at the wage commensurate with that position. And so we want to ensure, again, if you've been impacted, you have an opportunity to work and deliver and support the community. And for businesses, county agencies, government agencies, and our business organizations, we will pay the full wages. In addition, we have paid transitional work experiences. So if you are an employer and you are struggling to find the wages in order to continue business, you've been impacted and are willing to give someone who's been impacted by the fire an opportunity to gain work experience, we will offset wages. It builds on the job training opportunities. It helps people transition. And so with that, even if we then, the third one, need to invest in job training. If you were impacted or there's a skill set or there's an upskilling that you are in need of, we want to ensure that you have access to the training, the credentials that lead to high growth and in-demand industries. And some of the most impacted industries that we know are hospitality, construction, early care and education, healthcare, and government. In addition to that, if you needed to get into employment quickly, there's rapid reemployment screening. So both for employers who need to bring back a workforce, but also for the worker themselves. If you've been dislocated and you need to hurry up and find employment, we're here to assist with that as well. And then ultimately, we have supportive services. And so there are stipends and other types of financial assistance like transportation supportive services, tools, work uniforms. We want to ensure that you have the full resources to get back to work and stay employed. Next screen. So how to get started. One, there are eligibility requirements. You do need to be 18 years of age or older, have the authorization to work, be a resident of LA County, and have lost work due to the January 2025 wildfires, or unemployed for over 4 weeks. You can fill out an interest form if you go to our bit.ly/fire workforce, or you can visit any of America's job centers across the region. You can visit bit.ly/AJCC locator to find the closest one to you. There's about 40 across the region here in LA County, and you can access these services at any one of them as well. Next slide. So current temporary job opportunities with our partners at Beaches and Harbor. If you're interested in being a crew supervisor, a crew laborer, parks and recreation, a child care worker, public works, intake specialist, or admin support, and at our job centers and intake specialist or admin support, we continuously update these opportunities as more opportunities come online. So if you visit bit.ly/fire workforce, you can find the latest with that, and we already have folks who've started some of these job opportunities as well. Next slide. Here are some of the flyers that you'll find. Please do share out with the community. We definitely want to get this far out and wide, so if folks are ready to resume work and able to do it, you can download any of your flyers and please do share. Next slide. And lastly, we're focused on our youth. And so under the great direction of our supervisor, who want to make sure our opportunity youth, our Eaton fire impacted youth have opportunity as well. We do have paid work experience. So if you are an employer here who's open to providing that paid work experience opportunity, or you know of youth who is impacted by the fire, please direct them to this opportunity. We pay up to 160 hours. We pay the wages. The youth are often extremely excited, and it's a way to ensure that that work experience, that continuum continues even for our youth here in the region. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jessica. We have one last update. This is dealing with the topic of senior citizens that live in the community that have been impacted by the Eaton fire. And we have several representatives, Alex Gomez, Miguel Robleto, and Billy Young with the Department of Aging for LA County.
Good afternoon, everybody. Alex Gomez from Aging and Disabilities. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to present. We'd like to share some information regarding our new Freedom Transportation program. Now, this is a program that provides on-demand and non-fixed route transportation services. They're free transportation services that are intended to bridge service gaps and eliminate barriers to public transportation for older adults and adults with disabilities. The eligibility for our program, it's for adults 65 years of age or older, or adults 18 through 64 who are living with a disability, either permanent or temporary. Now, there are two different types of program services that we provide under our new Freedom Transportation. One is our taxi cab services program. Basically traditional taxi cab services. Their rides are available 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. An individual can take up to 4 one-way trips for a particular month, or up to 40 miles, whichever comes first. The clients are provided with a preloaded swipe card. You will reach out to a contractor and schedule your ride. The other type of service and program that we have is our volunteer driver mileage reimbursement program. And in this particular program, participants have the opportunities to select one or more volunteer drivers for their transportation needs. Now, the volunteer drivers can include family, friends, caregivers, or neighbors. The volunteer drivers they have to utilize their own personal vehicle to provide the transportation services. And at the end of the month, the client can claim up to 150 miles per month as reimbursement for their volunteer driver. Now, you can contact us to get an application. We would love to give you services and process those. You can reach us at 1-888-863-7411. Again, the telephone number is 1-888-863-7411. We also have our email account. You can reach us at as well. newfreedom@ad.lacounty.gov. Again, that email account is newfreedom@ad.lacounty.gov. I'm going to be around here for a little bit, looking at the chat for any questions that folks might have. So happy to provide that assistance as well. And I will be passing it over to Miguel Robledo for his update. Miguel?
Thank you, Alex. Appreciate it. Miguel Robledo. I am with the Area Agency on Aging and just wanted to provide a brief update on our Area Agency on Aging's activities in the Supervisorial District 5, specifically in the Altadena area. Our AAA continues to provide and connect older adults in the Altadena area with a wide range of essential services that promote health and safety and independence for older adults. These services include home delivered meals, congregate meals that are now including grab and go meals at Loma Alta Park. These of course help address food insecurity and reduce isolation. My colleague Billy might mention this when his update about our centers division. We also provide caregiver support that includes respite services, education services, and counseling for caregivers. We're also here to support any legal assistance that older adults may need, particularly related to some housing or benefits or even elder abuse prevention programs. We also, of course, have our information and assistance services that provide personalized reports and guidance to help older adults and caregivers navigate available programs in their area. And of course, we have case management and linkages services that offers personalized care coordination for older adults and persons with disabilities. We are placing a lot of increased emphasis on our linkages service providers. They deliver in-home case management and care coordination to help older adults age safely in place. This support is especially crucial right now as older adults and persons with disabilities face already a number of challenges, and especially due to the wildfires. These are challenges that a case manager can definitely help navigate effectively. If you or someone you know is an older adult or in need of support, please don't hesitate to contact our information and assistance hotline at 1-800-510-2020. Again, that's 1-800-510-2020. Like I said, don't hesitate to contact us, and we have a number of providers that are in the area ready to support, and we're here to help and committed to ensuring older adults in the communities are remaining safe and supported. Thank you for the opportunity. I'll turn it over to my colleague Billy from our centers.
Thanks, Miguel. Really appreciate it. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Billy Young with the Community and Senior Centers team. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Supervisor Barger and her office for their continued support, and to the Department of Parks and Recreation for their partnership in helping reestablish a welcoming space where older adults can access vital services and programming. We're pleased to share that we just hit the 1-month mark at our satellite Altadena Senior Center located at the Loma Alta Park. That's at 3330 North Lincoln Avenue. We have a robust offering of regularly scheduled programming services and activities such as strength training, line dancing, chair aerobics, music club, and many more. We also host on-site presentations and workshops, some of which have included the Department of Public Health's workshop with topics covering soil and water contamination, free lead levels testing in soil for homeowners and cleaning activities in the area, also Betzetics estate planning workshop, as well as Alzheimer LA's workshop on Alzheimer's and memory loss. The next workshop and presentation is scheduled for June 27th, as we're hosting the World Elder Abuse Awareness event with on-site resources from our Disabilities Services and Support team, that's Alex's team. And separately, the Department of Public Health will also be conducting a nutrition workshop. For more details on the center's programming, please visit ad.lacounty.gov or drop by the satellite Altadena Senior Center to pick up a calendar, and we hope to see you there. And with that concludes Aging and Disabilities Department's update.
Thank you very much for those updates. We will now transition to the question and answer portion of today's meeting. We're going to start with one actually that was submitted during the meeting. Here's the question, and it's for public health. Lead is only one of a handful of toxins that burned and contaminated Altadena. Not having a soil remediation program is a deviation from previous wildfires in California. Please help me understand, how are we supposed to know if it's safe to rebuild and move back into the community? A lead soil test on my single property is not the full picture.
Thank you so much. That's a really great question. And I want to provide a little bit of context and point people to some of the analysis that was done via a contract with Ruin Associates. The county did contract in for representative soil sampling within both Eaton and Palisades and outside of the fire area. And for the Eaton area, largely we did not see fire-related contamination outside of lead, hence the focus on lead for that area. There were areas in both Eaton and Palisades where there was exceedances in arsenic. Arsenic can be naturally occurring. So when I make the distinction between fire-related contamination, I'm not discounting the exceedances that we're seen in arsenic. Because of that soil sampling that was done, that is really what led to this additional soil testing program for lead, because that is what we saw as one of the biggest potential risks, and really urge folks to utilize that testing and or utilize the representative testing to think about things that can be done during the rebuilding process. Also wanted to urge folks to consider the recommendation that came from the Department of Public Health related to the sampling that we got done by RU, and that is that soil management should be part of the process during the rebuilding. Now, soil management doesn't necessarily mean that everybody needs to remove soil. There's things that can be done with softscaping and hardscaping that can help reduce the risk. This is best done in conjunction with experts. That may be your contractor that you're rebuilding with. You may be working with your insurance company and working with an environmental specialist. Each parcel is going to have specific requirements. So this lead testing is just a piece of it. So I really do appreciate that question, because it's an opportunity to reiterate that in certain situations, it will require bringing somebody in and or working with your contractor to think about things to do. I also want to point out that on the Department of Public Health's website, we have lots of information on there on what people can do now to reduce any potential risk, whether or not you have tested your specific property. These involve measures that can be taken, such as making sure you're not tracking dust into the home, ways to either softscape or xeriscape your property to make sure that there's not loose soil. So lots of good information on there. But for specific questions related to remediation, that often requires bringing in a specialist to assess that for your property. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Quick. I'm going to pivot to a question that was submitted in advance of the meeting from a community member. Here's the question. This is for Public Works. What is the timeline for ensuring that the commercial businesses are cleaned up? I'm concerned that the debris from these properties presents a health danger, and that when they are cleaned up and the debris is again stirred up into the air, it will again pose a health problem as well. So a little bit of Public Works and I would say public health.
So, hi, good afternoon. This is Luis Ramirez with Public Works. I'll start with the milestones for the abatement of properties. The last day by which people need to clear their fire, ash, and debris is June 30th. We have been inspecting properties in both Altadena and also in unincorporated Palisades to track progress being made by folks that have opted out of the FEMA Army Corps program and decided to do the removal on their own. And we have started doing the last round of summary abatement orders and notices, the posting of those orders, so that we can reach and be able to make sure that we bring everybody into compliance by June 30th. Based on our inspections that happened over the weekend, there are about 60 properties, mostly residential, that don't appear to have started any abatement work or any fire debris removal process and or are in progress of removing. And so likely what's going to happen with those properties is that the county, in collaboration with the Army Corps of Engineers and FEMA, will have to come in and abate those properties. We hope to have a final list at the beginning of July to give people up until June 30th to complete the work. But the good news, if you want to look at it from that perspective, is that out of 6,000, almost 7,000 property, we're looking at 60 that really haven't began doing any debris removal. So that speaks to the success of the summary abatement process at each of the milestones that we had throughout the process, which began in mid-May. We have been working with people to get them through that final milestone of June 30th to have that process removed, or I should say the fire debris and ash removed from their properties. So that's the update that I have with regards to removal of debris. You heard from Army Corps that we have until July 15th to transmit residential properties for them to abate on behalf of the county. And so we are tracking to be able to accomplish that by that deadline. I'll be around if anybody has questions regarding the abatement process. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Quick, or maybe our partners with Army Corps. Anybody want to weigh in on the other part of that question that had to do about the commercial debris cleanup process and posing a health danger and what can be done to address that or mitigate that?
So I'll add one more thing, is that the June 30th deadline applies to both commercial and residential properties. And so we are tracking internally the properties, the commercial properties that were not included. As you heard earlier, FEMA is accepting some commercial properties into the program, but there are a couple that have not been accepted that we are tracking and working with the homeowner, not the homeowners, but the property owners, to clear their debris by June 30th. If it is not done by June 30th, then we will also abate those properties. It'll be done by the county.
Thank you very much, Luis. And it'll be done in a way that is definitely safe and addressing the health concerns around dust being stirred up, etc.
Yeah,
There's a methodology in place.
Absolutely. When people, those who opted to do the debris removal themselves, when they pulled a fire debris removal permit, there were requirements as part of the permit to control dust, when it's being removed, as well as installing best management practices, or BMPs, on the site after they're done with removal, to make sure that any soil that's left behind doesn't spill into storm drains and is not it's not blown up in the air into adjacent properties. So there is a process for removing fire ash and debris.
Thank you very much. We're moving on to our next, this is another pre-submitted question. This is for our partners from LA County Fire that join us today. Here's the question. What is the status of the capability of the water systems in Altadena to fight future fires? Is the system ready to handle what may be needed in future events?
So thank you very much for the question. We are meeting weekly with the 5 water companies within the Altadena Fire, Eaton Fire footprint. I would say if we can bring Chief Duvali, he has been the lead on coordinating with the water companies. If you can give us an update, that would be fantastic, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, thank you very much. As Chief Yanagisawa stated, we've been working with the water companies on a weekly basis, and we've been monitoring their status and ability to get their systems back up and running. So as they progress, they've been informing us on the capabilities of their systems, where the systems were compromised and some of their storage facilities were compromised. They've augmented that lost capability by cross-feeding with the other water companies in the Altadena area. There are currently 5 water companies in the area, and they've been working very closely with each other, and both Department of Public Works and the fire department have been involved in this process. So at this point in time, their systems are back up and running, and the fire department feels comfortable that they have the capacity to be able to mitigate a fire that would happen within the Altadena footprint.
Thank you, Chief Tavalli. We have one more question before our 5 o'clock hour ends. The question was, where can we see the answers to questions that were asked if we're unable to attend the weekly meeting? So a couple of things we would like to share. We will drop this into the URL. There's a website, recovery.lacounty.gov/Altadena. That is where we are posting answers to these frequently asked questions that get posed during the supervisor's weekly Monday meeting. And we also have archived on the LA County YouTube channel the different videos of these 4 p.m. Monday meetings. So you can always, if you need to, if you can't watch live and you missed a part, or you did hear a part and maybe you need to re-listen to it, you can always find the LA County YouTube channel and replay any of the videos, or visit that URL that I shared, recovery.lacounty.gov/Altadena, and scroll to the frequently asked questions portion. We are at the 5 o'clock hour. That is the end of our time together. Thank you again for joining Supervisor Barger's weekly Altadena community meeting. For those of you on Zoom, when you exit the meeting, please provide your email address if you'd like to receive any follow-up information and notifications from the supervisor's office or any of the recovery partners that joined us today. Thank you again for joining us. Signing off.
The January wildfires devastated communities and created huge challenges for our residents, businesses, and neighborhoods. Now it's time to rebuild. LA County is working in real time to streamline, simplify, and improve the process of applying for and obtaining building permits. In this video, we'll walk you through some of the steps on the road to rebuilding. First, you'll need to get your property cleared of debris. By now, you've submitted a right of entry for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to clear your property, or you've hired a private contractor. But even before the debris clearance is completed, you can start moving forward with the permitting process. You can get started by hiring an architect and team of professionals to draw up your plans. These plans are essential to have in hand to apply for a permit so that the county knows what you're planning to build, whether it will be the same as before or something completely new. Once your plans have been reviewed to make sure they meet the zoning requirements, it's time to move forward and apply for your permits. You can submit your application through the county's online portal or in person at a one-stop permit center. Along the way, you'll be asked to submit additional information. No two projects are identical, so you and your team of professionals will need to pay close attention to questions like whether your property is on a septic or cesspool system, whether you're in a high fire hazard severity zone, or whether there are nearby oak trees or other protected native trees that could be affected by the construction. Not all requirements will apply to all residents, but some are universal, like certifying that your project has indoor sprinklers in place for fire safety. After you submit all of the required documents, the county will issue your permit. Now it's time to break ground. As construction gets underway, the county will conduct periodic inspections. Once construction is done and all inspections have been completed, you'll receive a certificate of occupancy, and it's time to move in. Welcome home. To learn more about permitting on the road to rebuilding, visit recovery.lacounty.gov.